Welcome to Audrey's Book Corner, a place where authors and readers come together to discover. Audrey's Book Corner is brought to you by the Authorpreneur Club and the Facebook group called Promote My Book, where authors learn how to make their love of writing into a fulfilling career. Now, here is your hostess, Audrey Moran.
I've got Bobby Benavides with me today. Did I say it right?
Benavides, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a Spanish last name.
Oh, I wondered if it was, but I'd never heard it before.
Yeah, I've had so many different ways of saying it for so many people. The best one that I had was my track coach in high school called me Benavides. It was kind of like I'm not a disease coach. like it's kind of awkward, but
Yeah, I hadn't even thought of pronouncing it that way.
Well, I'm glad. I said I'm glad you didn't think like that.
No, and well, in fact, for whatever reason, I took Spanish in high school and college.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm unsure, I try saying, the way I know Spanish speakers, do their words, and occasionally I'm wrong, but usually I'm right. So anyway, so you've written Made for More, and you wrote a daily devotional book, right?
Yeah, 15-day devotional. Searching for more.
Okay. Oh, sure. Okay. I knew Made for More, and I'd seen the other book.
Mm-hmm.
But it went.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I moved to West Virginia in 2003. I'm from Southern California, a little town, Glendora, California.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah. So I was there, born and raised in California. Started in Northern California, moved to Southern California, then moved to West Virginia in 2003 to serve as a youth development specialist. Working with World Vision and World Vision Appalachia, which is a local U.S. program of World Vision as a whole.
Right.
And then also doing youth ministry as well. And then in 2005, I attended Alderson Broaddus University and met my wife there. My wife Natasha, she's a physician's assistant, and she was born and raised in West Virginia. And then we've been here just serving in ministry. I've been a youth pastor for over 17 years now. I've been in youth ministry, but now I'm actually planting a church here in Elkins, West Virginia. We moved here about 3 years ago, and actually almost 4 years ago now. We have our 3 kids. Liam, who's 4, Nora, 2, and now our newborn Jude, who's 2 months.
So you're busy.
Yeah, pretty busy. Yeah.
It seems like a big change there to go from Glendora, California to West Virginia. Across the country, was that a rude awakening?
In the first 6 months, yes. I came in the summer. It was in actually June 16th of 2003. I came, and it was one of those things where I was actually supposed to be for 1 year. I was supposed to be an intern with them for 1 year. And so in the first 6 months, it was a tough transition because I left all my family, all my friends, came here with just had a little bit of money that I raised to kind of keep me afloat for the year, and then trying to figure things out. And so that first 6 months, it was difficult. Had my first experience with like a real snow, which is really intense and awesome at the same time. It was a real shocker for me. And so then when I will open up the door and I see a pile of snow, and I'm like, what is this? Like, this is amazing. So in that time, it was a little bit difficult, but then it grew on me. In the spring of 2004 is when I felt led to continue working here. And that's when I applied for a bigger role. And so yeah.
Yeah, because Glendora, that's in Southern California, right?
Right. Yeah, it's in the valley.
Yeah, so you don't get anything like snow there.
No, you can drive to it. You can drive up to the snow, but you can always drive out of it. Here, nope. Once it hits, you're stuck. You can't go anywhere.
Pretty much. Well, if you've got 4-wheel drive, you can get through it. But
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
I've seen
I've thought,
four-wheel drive not get through it too, though.
yeah, I've thought about investing in sled dogs a couple times, but haven't gone that far.
I think that's a bit extreme.
Yeah.
Just bad.
Yeah.
Now, if you were in Alaska, that wouldn't be such a bad investment.
Right. Yeah.
But for West Virginia, now you said you're in Elkins, West Virginia.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
and what's that near?
um,
For those who
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. What's it near? We are basically we're right in the mountains. So, we are north central West Virginia. So we're about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, southeast of Morgantown,
Okay,
where
okay,
WU is, and about 2 hours, 2.5 hours northeast of Charleston. So I believe
okay,
northeast. So
okay.
yeah,
And that gives us a little better view of where you're at,
yeah,
because all of our authors on Promote My Book who sponsor us are from all over the place.
yeah.
It's a very diverse group. I mean, yeah, it just is. So what made you decide to write your book?
Yeah. So in youth ministry, working with high school students and a lot of senior, a lot of juniors and seniors that are prepping for college, and then of course I'm doing college ministry with college students who had graduated the program and young adults. So I'm constantly working with that age range of people who have the questions, right? They're always asking the questions of, I don't know what my purpose is. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to school and I think this is my major, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know what God has really created me for. I don't even know if I really believe in God. Like I don't know. So there are a lot of questions that people are always asking.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided, I think I'm gonna just write my response. This is what I will always kind of
Okay.
go towards. So I'm gonna write my response down. It's not a long book. It's a quick book to read.
It is. It is
And
very quick.
yeah, and it's one of those things that I just kind of said, you know what, I'm going to write this, and then hopefully it encourages people of all ages. I've had an
Right.
80-year-old woman tell me that she read it and it inspired her to move on and do some great things. That was awesome. I've had some 30-year-olds who have said that they read it and inspired them to actually go deeper into their faith, which has been cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have some high school students and college students who've read it, and they say that it's been so encouraging to think about who they are in God's eyes, and to know that they have a purpose right now, and they don't have to wait for the future to get there. So,
Right. Yeah. You've always got, I mean, and if you're 80 something and you're still here, you've got a purpose,
yeah,
or you
yeah,
wouldn't be here anymore.
right.
We talked about what other people are getting from the book, those who read it. What was your intent? I mean, obviously, we just discussed that a little bit, but
Yeah.
did you have any deeper intent when you wrote it?
I think ultimately I want to direct people towards God, because when the questions are being asked of who am I, right? Because that's what happens in the book. We ask the questions of who am I, where am I, what am I, and in those questions, we can find answers, and I use a lot of uh, cultural, pop culture references to kind of bring about the ideas of like how that all falls into place. But
Mm-hmm.
then the final question is, do you know the great I am, right? The God who has created everything, who has made everything, and He's made us and He's the one that answers those questions. And so yeah, my deeper intent is for people to come to a point where they actually say, all right, well, maybe I'm going to dig into this a little bit more. Maybe I will seek to understand more about who God is and who He views me, how He views me, because I think that's the piece that is missed a lot.
Right, right. Um, do you have a favorite book?
I have a lot of favorite books. So
How
you
long
know,
is your list?
yeah, I know it's pretty long. But genre wise, like it's just like movies. Like my favorite. I normally say my favorite movies, and I say them in genres because they're all over the place. But one of my favorite books, well, my two favorite books, Celebration of Discipline by Richard Foster. It's a real spiritual book, but it guides us in like the spiritual disciplines of fasting, solitude, meditation, prayer, all that stuff. So it's a really great book to think about. But then my other book that I really love is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I love the Chronicles of Narnia series, but the Lion,
Or
which
C.S. Lewis.
yeah, C.S. anything by C.S. Lewis I love,
Right.
but uh, but yeah,
He
that's
uses a lot of great metaphor and analogy.
yeah,
And you really have to, I think the only way you understand C.S. Lewis, I mean, because everyone takes something different away from C.S. Lewis. I think
hmm
his is all about where you're going to understand things from the perspective of where you're at in life right then.
hmm
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I got when I've read C.S. Lewis, because he uses things that always mean more than what it more than what it sounds like when you first just read it. Don't you think?
yeah. Yeah, I think he has a great way of bringing out the idea of who God is, but then but through, like you said, metaphor, analogy, just bringing how he has a great way of comparing, and he's just bringing about real life. And I think that's what I love about him is that he one of his greatest quotes is the prayer that precedes all other prayers, may the real me meet the real you. Um, and I think that when he wrote it was a way of saying like, look, like I'm gonna be real. I'm not gonna hide my thoughts. I'm not gonna hide my struggles, my pain, my hurt, my doubts. But I'm also gonna tell you what I believe about God and who He is and who He's created us to be. So it's he's just a great author, great theologian.
Yeah, he is, and he's not. I don't think he even intends to come off that way. That's just how he is.
Yeah.
Oh, which of these two books was easier to write? Searching for More or Made for More?
Um, well, Made for More I think was easier for me to write in regards to just um, it was like I said, it was my responses that I've given to people,
Mhm.
asking those questions, and so it kind of made it easier for me to write out what I've already told people, and a lot of the pop culture references, like the when I use Zoolander to reference the question of who am I, and then talking
Right,
about Lil Wayne and the hip hop artists, and saying like I've used these things in sermons, I've used them in conversations, so it just kind of made it easier for me to write. Searching for More primarily came out of people who said, "You need to just write. Can you just write me a devotional?" And I was like, I'm not going to focus on writing a 1 year thing because I just don't have the time for that right now. Like I have other books
right.
that I'm writing, but I'll write something quick. And so so I wrote that it was faster for me to write, but not easier, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And how many day devotional is that book?
It's 15, just a
15. That's
15
what
day
I
deal.
thought you said, but I wasn't sure I caught it.
Yeah.
So,
It's
okay.
written in, yeah, that one I wrote kind of in a way like you're on a road trip. So it's everything every day has something to do with like like you're on a road trip. So the first one talks about your map. What are you using to direct you? Then you go through and you talk about who's on the journey with you, who's on the trip with you. What happens when you get a flat tire, when life just doesn't work out very well, and you're
Right.
expecting everything to go well, and then all of a sudden you boom, you get a flat tire. How does that work? Running on empty when you feel like everything's just drained out of you. How do you
Right.
get lifted up and encouraged? So that's kind of that's the strategy of that piece. So.
Right. Right. It sounds like a good book. I haven't looked at that one, of course, because I read the other one.
Right.
Do you have anything else you want to tell people about your book? Are you
Yeah.
planning to write any more books?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm writing one right now, a Christian leadership book right now. I have about 5 books that are in my mind that I've been writing, taking
Mhm.
notes and getting things prepped up, which I think always happens. And Made for More wasn't even the first book I wanted to write, which was really interesting. Yeah, I started writing another one,
Okay.
and I stopped that one because I just wasn't. I felt like I just wasn't getting to the place I really wanted to be on it. And so I
Uh-huh.
was like, okay. And then Made for More came out after just having some conversations with some people, and I was like, okay, well, this seems like a book that's more necessary at this time for a certain audience.
Right.
Um, and then the other one, I'm actually thinking about going back to just because of the time that we're in, and that one's focused on the ministry of reconciliation, just the idea of how we're called as followers of Christ to be really striving to pursue reconciliation with each other, in the church, in the world, in politics, and so in our community. So how does that all flow? So that's an idea that I'm coming back to, and so I think that's gonna be the next book I focus on after the leadership book that will be coming. Hopefully, I'll have that done by the end of the year. I was hoping to have it done before the end of the summer, but kids,
life happens.
yeah. So.
Yeah, children come, and that slows you down a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. Anything else you want to share with us? I think we're about done here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think that I just want people to know that the book is a great way to just be just to really dig deeper, or to even motivate you to dig deeper into the main questions of life. I think that we all have them. I think that if you have a high school, college age person, this book is great for them, because it helps them kind of think through the idea of their self-image. Where do they find their hope? Where do they find their encouragement? Where is their foundation placed? And then ultimately, who has designed them to experience life? And then, it's a book that I think that can be very beneficial for a lot of people. And I mean, I wrote it, so obviously I'm going to say that.
You're slightly prejudiced.
Yeah, but at the same time, in the feedback that I've received from, the people who have read it, it's been a blessing for me, because I'm hearing people who have, like I said, who've been sending me messages saying, "Thank you so much for writing this book. It's encouraged me to go deeper." It's some people said, I've been at a place of doubt and struggle, and this has really helped me remember who God has made me to be. And so for me, that's what's made it all worth it. I told my wife, I said, even if I just had that one person that said that, it would make writing this book worth it. And so
Right.
to have so many people who have said that, it makes me feel real good about what I've done. So.
Right, that's wonderful. I mean, because you're not going. Here I go again. You're not going to make everyone happy. Let's face it. That's just not how we all work. We're not. Some people like it, some people don't. That's how it is.
Yeah.
So to reach one, I feel like you made a difference for one person. Yeah, that would make it worth it. So,
and if you do decide to read the book, leave a review, whether it's good or bad. I want a review. I want the reviews, because I want to know what I can be better at. That's one of the things too. I think as an author, I always want to get better. And so if I get a negative review, I can only look at it as, okay, what do I need to improve in my writing style, right?
Right.
So that's just kind of where I look at it. But so that's my last thing.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. So, all righty, Bobby. Thanks so much. And this has been Bobby Benavides and me, Audrey Moran, with Audrey's Book Corner. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks a lot.
Yep. Bye.
You've been listening to Audrey's interview of the talented author Bobby Benavides, who wrote the inspirational book Made for More. Copies are available at Amazon and other distributors. Please drop by and enjoy the journey of discovery and purpose. Until next time, bye.